you a nice egg in this trying time?
Yeah, he's got an egg, you might...
Frank's Pretty Woman opens with the gang getting a junkyard dog.
Wait for me in the backpack.
Okay, babe.
Subverting title reference where Richard Gere falls in love with Julia Roberts' character after paying her to help close business deals. Frank goes straight to plying the best damn her and to make savings on single bangs, asks her to be his wife.
Pretty Woman?
Uh-huh. That was a bullshit movie.
Frank and Charlie have been boiling denim for chicken.
Hey, you know, there's some dirty crack whore in the alley blowing the busboy from the restaurant down the street. This is exactly why we need that dog.
Sonny continually building on top of lore, always. Let's address the elephant in the room. McElhenney's utter devotion to comedy. Mac gaining 50 pounds comes from a scientific failure to differentiate between muscle and fat.
People change, Frank.
Dennis resolves to help him out of embarrassment, but I wonder, is this like how he helps Charlie? Dennis creates a problem in each case, then instructs as to how to reach a solution. In Mac's journey, that will take a spikier path. Charlie has devised a scheme for Frank's date, so many moments were reminded of what a great idea it is to pair these two actors. Alana will back gives an amazing turn as Roxy. Flailing inside one arm of a hook jacket is an impressive choice. Clothing shop showdowns are a sunny fixture, and it's fun to see Dee secure a win at long last. Time for a cunning ruse involving a genuine Texan millionaire, Hoss Bonaventure, and his humble limo driver. Neither man scores on efforts to remove their real-life stories from these new identities. There's denim, crabs, the bridge, illiteracy, a little bit of a cough.
I think I've been poisoned by my constituents!
And some found eggs. A full harvest of gifts. These guys are bros.
Tell you what, if it's Roxy you want to...
Meanwhile, Tiger Woods, Donovan McNabb, Don Cheadle, and Dee are getting into some feet whoring. Let's see how Dennis is getting on helping Mac.
Now, I've never had crack.
Dude, you are going to love it.
It's time for romance.
Oh, whoops.
I can't leave her here.
You gotta wonder how many times the gang's homes appear on police reports. Roy Orbison's Pretty Woman accompanying the removal of the body is what this show does. Pop, rock, ghoulishness. Jersey Shore is one of my favourite go-tos for gang magic. It's born from fire. Frank's photos of his crap family holidays where Dennis and Dee would escape him. Mac's antipathy towards some then TV show fad marks out who is on which side to be flipped around by episode's end, and Charlie, open to new experiences, to encounter the waitress who will be flipped around on hers. It's a romantic comedy, aside from the PCP and murder. The Jersey Shore's magic is enough to make Dennis be nice to Dee and reprimand the others for doing the opposite. A twist on wine in a can with tequila in sunscreen bottles and sunscreen in a sunscreen bottle which is twisted. Some mythical place called Europe. There's dogs and dogging and syringes. Rum ham, spawning many real-world recipes and classic clip potential.
I'm sorry, Rumham! I'm sorry, Rumham!
Danny DeVito was born and raised in New Jersey, Neptune, 78 miles from where this episode was shot, in Ocean City. The double shot is the name of this ride at the Playland's Castaway Cove, and its haircut is a comedy of brutal errors with all the scalping and vomiting. There's some gang do Gogglebox without Gogglebox commentary in the live reaction of Misery Violence Theatre 2000 to introduce us to their next big ride. Meanwhile, Mac imagines himself as a deep-sea hunter, and Frank confronts the reality that Mac has to die. Always easier than confronting your own mortality. Beach facts. Mary Elizabeth and Charlie took to collecting shells while dating, and it was on a beach where he proposed to her. During shooting of this episode, Mary Elizabeth was pregnant with the first child. These scenes turned me to warm, lovely mush, deep inside. My own beloved memories of Jersey Shore play in a 2-minute montage. It's perfectly matched with a cut of Vacation by the Go-Go's. It's an industrially heavy vehicle story carrier and works a treat. A night to remember. Symmetries, balaclavas and guns, Mac and Frank and their love of reality shows, edible seagrass, ecstasy-shopped puppy, a gut wound, and Dennis's Hot Wheels. Type 2 diabetes, type 2 diabetes, type 2 diabetes. Prestige television all the way. Tending the wrong grave, and a beautiful festival of lights.
Oh my god!
The gang done back to the gang, and the only resolution is to scarper.
Oh, you love it so much here. Get in the goddamn car, you fat ass!
It's an episode carrying Sonny's lightest and darkest moments.
Excuse me, who's in charge here?
Well, usually that's whoever yells the loudest, but
Wham Bam open with DeVito in top pop slapstick. Beautiful OTT accident cosmetics. And a fast move to the episode's central conundrum. Frank is afraid of being viewed as dirty old Donald Trump diddler. This is where DeVito's hair comes into its own. Mac's opposition to the ugliness of child pageants takes a route straight to the repository of Dee's successes.
How would you win pageants? Did you have a different face?
Leave it to Charlie's insane take of kids in skimpies as an embodiment of patriotism, uniting the others. I hope you're proud of yourself, Uncle Jack Donald Trump.
I know some of you may have heard about that other guy. I'm not like that. That's not my thing. Ooh, I wouldn't do it with anybody younger than my daughter.
Mac, Charlie and Dennis talk for the first act about their pageantry, doing so among themselves and contributing nothing. But Charlie, of course, knows what he's doing.
Maybe one day you'll be a star, but right now you're not. You're junk.
Walter is played by Eric Jensen, a prolific actor you might know as Cody from Mr. Robot. Samantha versus Dee is a joy. Young Caitlin Carmichael wipes the floor with her, including a callback to the North Korea problem.
knock knock. Who's there?
Terrible breath.
No grudges held, because Olsen and Carmichael will reunite in 2 episodes of The Mick. Mac is still working on the Breathe and Eat. Benjamin, played by later award-winning star Maxim Knight of Falling Skies, his character is cast by the gang as lacking guidance, but he quickly charms them. Frank's paranoia and Dee's territorial pissings are the highlights as Little Beauties sets up its pieces. It does so quite straightforwardly too. It's got a quiet, especially quiet, ambition to be a sequel in scope and type to Nightman Cometh. It can't compete because a younger episode diddled it. But Beauties unfolds into a classic. DeVito, loaded with mortician's makeup, brings back fond memories of his time as a penguin. The extended inverted sideburns are up to 11. In my rewatch, I had the TV's brightness up to the same setting, presenting a scare or two.
I'm not attracted to any of them.
Get yourself a GIF from the opening group number. Definitely no Nightman sequel. The alpha-female dominatrix song and dance, Dee expressing her deluded belief of superiority in that way she fancies herself. Favourite teacher, best adult, labelling herself all over everyone's consciousness, or trying to the sound of no dropping pin.
a big humongous pain in my vagina.
Benjamin's turn is listed in the dictionary as a definition for over the top, I'm epileptic and it's almost worth the strobes, and memories of when Mango Mussolini tried something similar. The electro-synth rock and rock flag eagle imagery is as joyful as fictional horror can get. Uncomfortable, very uncomfortable, very uncomfortable, and a perfect manifestation of gang ego.
But at a rave, I feel like that would have been awesome.
I know, but the kids make it weird.
And Walter's the Diddler is a twist. On a meta level, the gang's immorality would centrally attract others of like character. Neglectful parents, a druggie, maybe a necrophiliac, and you.
Mr. Gorbachev, tear down this wall.
Dee Gets Audited takes the gang in a cerebral direction to expose their politics and power dynamics. And we open with Always Classics in Forgotten Lime Gold.
What'd it taste like?
And Dee's surrogacy scheme. We have to give her props. She got Carmen and Nick to trust her. She saw the labour through, but ever the victim of the title card. I'm always a sucker for a vehicle on stage, and it's consistent with Dee's law of two fingers. Frank manipulates the boys through distraction and a belief in their own freedom and power. The fake veneer of democracy is made easier for him, as it's a subversion of the status quo, as is reason over emotion.
Reason will prevail!
Dennis automatically assumes responsibility for intelligence on the matter of the dog funeral, Frank having stepped aside to let him roll around in his showiness, because Frank's manipulation has a strongly uninterested facet. It links to his neglectfulness. He exerts only a nudge for his power to occupy the minds of his minions.
One of the cornerstones of Patty's Pub? A thick lime!
His effort is random, therefore dangerous. And in this scene, Glenn Horton gives us a performance of cranial depths. He's likely seen Frank pull his trick before and is used to finding openings. As cleverly as Dennis settled the dog matter, Dee's proposal for a political party, the Pickle Party, upsets the balance. Dennis replicates Frank's strategy of distraction with the illusion of autonomy and unsettles Dee's arrangement.
How big of a crucifix do you want?
Big. I mean, it should be the centerpiece of the whole room. I mean, it should dominate every conversation.
That's gonna be terrifying!
I like the softness of the father-son talk, rolling around in scum each of them and exposing the God hole, a plot seed for the future.
I don't want real power, because with real power comes real responsibility, and I don't want any of that shit. I just want the money and the illusion of power.
The new thinking, not screaming gang operates on the sunny dynamic like a release valve so that Dee's cold and calculating trajectory can get through. Helped facilitate by Dennis, of course, and by the rising action towards the finale. It's a pressure cooker all over again, because the gang should be screaming, but are bound by new rules to carry on the pretense of screaming. When their thoughts are screaming, no emotion, reason will prevail. Reason will prevail. The funeral for Barnabas Reynolds is the worst thing the gang have ever done. I'll use that descriptor again next season. This time the gang sense they've gone too far, committed to the scam out of practicality, the mise-en-scene stocked with gloom.
Wolf Cola, everyone. It's the right cola for closure.
But of course it's not any sense of conscience that disrupts the whole thing, it's ego. And this is seriously a Scott Tenorman moment of depravity, and remains so largely due to the casket drop and rolling black-feeted corpse. Frank's brother is an episode majorly singled out as a blemish in Sonny's unrelenting gold run.
That I strongly disagree with this!
It's harmless enough. Character logic, amazing set, a story quite out of the box, quite fun.
Dare I say it?
Enjoyable. It's written by Howerton, Mack and Hornsby, directed by Shackman. John Polito plays Gino, best known for his work with the Coen brothers and his trademark raspy voice. Polito began acting at the West Philadelphia Catholic School for Boys, and after hundreds of roles on stage and screen, passed away in 2016. The episode experiments with time and memory. Polito and DeVito, implausible in their wigs, Frank at 19 or 12, Lance Reddick's disbelieving eye movements, achieved much bold comedy. In The Wire, John Wick and Fringe, Reddick uses deep tone and stature to play confident authority figures. As Reggie, he plays against type, subservient to Gino, and by relation to Frank. Naturi Naughton and Danny DeVito follow in performing youthful embodiments of teenage minds. Naughton, known for playing bunnies, is best known nowadays for her leading role in a TV series about a crooked New York nightclub owner in Power, and its follow-up, Ghost, in a combined 77 episodes. No one can fault the set, lighting, and audio design, which is among Sonny's best. So special mentions to production designer Scott Cobb, art director David Utley, costume designer Sabrina Rosen, and George Flores, the production sound mixer. The makeup and lighting department are also bringing their best game, and it's all picked up on by the cinematographer Peter Smokler, perfectly composing this swinging black jazz club. Even the extras look great. The 1970s incarnation of Shady Nasties has its own unique visuals. These are aimed at representations of the times, separate from the reality which often plays out through racial politics such as profiling and soft apartheid. Frank's Colombian retreat should look like a junkie's dangerous sweat hole. Instead, the choices made are painterly. Expressionism seeks to express emotional meaning rather than physical reality. See also post-impressionism, abstract qualities and symbolic content for how Frank and Gino choose to retcon their experiences because of race, class, gender, and of course deviancy.
That part was a blast, actually.
It's an episode making intriguing choices. Laugh aloud moments are rare. It's not particularly funny, but works through consistency, exploring Frank's character and the wonderful design. It's the same with the flash forwards to the gang. I guess this episode gets a bad rap because they allow us to see the potential clawing at the glass, but the high farce never gets through. In plot terms, the gang's inclusion feels pointless and contrived. There's deleted sequences which appear to make more sense if they have been included. Shady Nasties, Shadynasties is no Paddy's at all. Frank's old bar does have its own cricket though. Cheated on, beaten, radicalised, shot and arrested again. Frank's brother's messages on time and memory's foolishness aren't great comedy, but it does look ace. Jackie DiNardo has entered the chat. To defend boobies over storm weather, Charlie points to these boobies in a blink, and Frank is wearing his love for trash. This classic is written by Charles W. Hornsby, brother of David Hornsby, in his only credited script for the show. Most recently, his work can be seen as script coordinator on Law and Order and Under the Bridge. Jessica Collins' debut competes with Gang Lust and Mexican Men's Spanish Gangbang Lust. DiNardo is a conduit for tabloid media hype, allowing mention of looting to come in early. And Frank is a media student and critic, in a furious rager with Dee over the Y2K scare among the backdrop of the gang looting their own bunker, a larder-made buffet by Dennis's bang space. More trivia. The All-American Home Centre where this episode was shut down 2 months after this aired. So much for product placement. Unless that was the problem, the extras are really overdoing it, which works for me. Neurodiverse storms aplenty. And canny fun in Charlie's assertion they should grab a Mexican or man girl for predictions. There's a really good example of the dynamic of show about horrible created by lovable. Frank has assembled riot footage like some curator of violence as art. But no, his motive is demonstrating through content analysis how news media frames crime stories in actively racist styles. There's more to Dee's pithy challenge on her own screamed realism. A question over a video selected for presenting of news with inherent ethnic component. For a blink, it seems Frank is going to shout out news media racism when he doubles down on it. And this segues into a flash of physical comedy and full circle with his riot tourism as art. Discussion of morality inside immorality? The sunny sandwich. Chardee is on the pole, and it's predictable, delightfully so. Chardee wearing his costume of survivalist jacket, hat, ventilator, sardines, and a jar of pickled eggs, of course, all shaking up Dennis's pitch to his prey of the hurricane party, but not quite derailing it. That's reserved for the ladies' mention of their boyfriends. At this point, we know Dennis's misogyny will intensify and probably be funnier. Yet Howard's choice of cold silence and a shocked frown undercuts any laughter we're ready to release. Almost. His disappointment is intimidating, actually, and his assertion they lied to him is a particularly horrifying insight.
Storm coming? Hatcher coming! Dude.
That's no more unusual than facing a power outage with a loaded gun.
Oh my god, the power went out!
Calm
This is
down.
terrible. No, we gotta get out!
That's
Jesus.
why I like to have this little...
And another bullet point on the destruction of cricket. It's a messy wound. In the office section, Dennis plants seeds of Mac's betrayal. His consensual sex contract is a fun dive into his deviant mind, alongside Charlie's wish to sign it. The appeal of Jackie DiNardo is surface, one note, but a few choices by Jessica Collins and Matt Shackman see her otherwise mentally occupied and oblivious to Dennis. Little wonder she'll return, and in only 3 episodes so far, she looms large. And if we're in any doubt about that, she has a key role in Charlie's grand plan for incestuous repopulation. And there's a whole cheese section. The car crash to come is memorable, but in the 200-second Sunny mission, it's predictable, somewhat repetitive as a formula to end an episode, but it is helped along by Olsen and Hornsby's frenetic panic and the footnote that Mac has off-screen betrayed him and fled to the mountains. This is a major Olsen meltdown scene. Almost levitating into shot, Dennis shadows Jackie in the background, partly gliding, partly with an anxious and disempowered frame, as weak as we've ever seen the character. So it serves their relationship and provides a point of identification in our media narrative. His attempt at conversing with her is another new aspect of Dennis. Broken speech, awestruck, incomprehensible. It feels autistic. Compared to Harton's reading of Charlie's letter to voters for many similarities. And it goes on too long, until Jackie sweeps him from the shelf. Cricket and dogs, it's never comforting. The car crash forms purpose of realism. The gang and cricket are the nudge of media panic operations to society's rioting. Jackie isn't talking about her role in the carnage, or poverty, poor access to healthcare, or the effects of the drugs war. But she does throw a spotlight on the climate crisis to cover her lost story, an escalation in the seriousness of the content, tapping a marginalised story for clicks and to cover her ass. I scream, you scream, we all scream for ice cream. God damn it, Mac. It's a show about nothing. It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia.
It's not just a game! It's a war.
The concept of an omelette of board games often dips below visible depths here. It's a strong enough hook regardless. A premise you can replicate at home, as is the game we actually get. The Sunny Wiki compares Chardee to Chutes and Ladders, perhaps because of the fallback a level rule. I digress. Snakes and Ladders is a game which teaches morality. of the board. It represents Sunny as a structurally firm show, and this one takes it to a level of anthology. Mind, body and spirit are at the core of most gameplay, which exercise mental and physical health. Something else for the gang to destroy. I love the siblings team-up episodes, arrogant vanity untethered. It should be obvious they'll cheat. And on the Street Rat team, the player who insists they're always right, the eternal loser, and Frank is the audience surrogate. The civilized protocols are effective in how contextually jarring they are at the outset and later. Welcome as a breather to the emotionally violent displays and suggestions of what's to come. Round 1 is trivia, a nod to Trivial Pursuits.
What is the greatest band in the world?
Chumbawamba.
But written on index cards. Charlie had someone else make legible his question about Dennis. The artistry round is an interpretation of Pictionary, charades by illustration, allusion to the card game notation, answer on back. Subtle pun. It's perfect in making it point on the Frank-Charlie symbiosis. The chance card catches Max short. Pitiable deviousness runs through Max's especially weak blood. I love that Frank is rearranging the words of his question, but it's still a question somehow. I'm not sure what game this is, though I do adore Caitlin Olsen's expression of pride. The Ace of Spades is sometimes known as a death card, linked back to 1805 when a man was hung for forging one, but there's no markings to indicate it is the ace. Perhaps they stole the two instead. It's not a known tarot card. The nearest I found is a skull dartboard image on Etsy from Z-Cool Design. Maybe this is a random playing card tossed in with a dartboard as a target.
No puzzles, 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 no puzzles.
One of my catchphrases is that. Another chance card and Frank is to go to jail. All is Monopoly. But the gang don't do community chest. Games involving food have included Pac-Man, Sushi Go, Bobbing for Apples, and the lovable family entertainment Food Fight. A cake game seems oddly specific. There have been others since this episode was made. In 2016, Osprey's Let Them Eat Cake, a game of committees, coercion, alliance, and betrayal. And more recently, the TV game show Is It Cake? About replicating everyday objects as cake. The Great Gobble is an instantly recognisable adaptation. The cut to Frank keeps us from questioning its physics till the reveal. Hungry, hungry hippos, so suitable to Charlie, so we thought. There's character consistency in Dee having gone to a very dark place indeed. McElhenney lowers and raises Mac's voice reporting on it, emphasising him as a focus, the special one. She's immunised now, which sets us up for the gang broke Dee in a few seasons. We may think Dennis would be proud of his sister here, but it's off topic, slowing the game down. Audience surrogate Frank gives the audience help to survive this war game. He's a cunning one, backed by Charlie's pushing suspicions through, thanks to their weird telepatheticness.
Mr. Falconing Sons of Birds!
Another of the greats in the library of Charlie Dance. It would be great to see a prequel to this. What did happen on the day they came up with Chardee MacDennis? Searching for the Black Card took me to Blackout, released in Britain 1939 during the German bombing raids. The most well-known black card game is Cards Against Humanity, and many other modern indie games share this aesthetic.
Flip a coin.
Modern capitalism's final game, yet almost primordial as Charlie suggests. DeVito's forehead makes it an iconic design. It's an episode which crystallises everything great about Sunny, regular yet conceptual. This bottle and glass episode hangs on two imaginative concepts and spreads out from there. Frequently cited as a fave for showing to new viewers, probably in my Desert Island discs. It's an emblem of the artist's way. Creativity doesn't dry up. It gets better with practice and experience. Progressive structure, superb use of pacing, laugh your bones off energy. The game of games. The 2010 Aaron Sorkin movie with 2011 title and content styled to the gang, in topical form. Another favourite with trademark divide and conquer splits and self-sabotage. More story twists and a bowl of spaghetti. Everywhere the eccentricities, gin and jars, signs that blow off. This episode's bystander challenger is played by John Beach, who is an award-winning filmmaker. We saw MySpace back in Series 2, Frank on YouTube recently. Now it's time to take the stalking to Facebook.
That Rain Man Zuckerberg.
Has his shusher friended yet highlights their absurdist level of obsessions with people and media. Welcome return of supporting character, the duct-taped VHS camcorder. Great wordplay on Dennis's fistful of hammers, the memory seemingly maliciously triggered by Charlie. Andree plays a gin barkeep, performed and dressed for that hipster vibe. An editor and producer, he's popped up in Mythic Quest a few times. I like his Mark Shepard quality. Completely ludicrous farce at the police station, the temperature of how seriously this affront is taken. Detective Larson is played by David Marciano. In The Shield, his character was very much like a member of the gang, and it's a keen spin to have him play the straight man here. I found the reference to rape at first too unpleasant, but it goes far too far and comes out the other side as funny. The quest for Dylan Toback, the missing identity, takes in gender shaming, sock puppet accounts, and revenge porn. This is demonstrating how the gang's amorality allows for kick and punch of hot buttons in fast succession. Interestingly, Mac is coded as bisexual, bilecherous. Luenell gives a suitably off-kilter performance as Catfish, App's name, aided by Jerry, who's hooked up to the Wayback Machine, it seems. Dee's hair in a box is delightful story spaghetti. In the same way as injury to Dennis's crotch is a fun-running joke, so too is public flyering for his humiliation. A feat of nimble pacing with 2 encores that level up memorable quality. The flavour of Sonny in one little pill, quote it all in the comments, with Danny at high deranged.
Because it's a computer virus.
And a shusher Toback in a lock-in. Last seen online 14 years ago. For practicalities of story work, very little of anti-internet happens online. It realizes a gang is so hypersensitive as beyond keyboard warriors. Where they pursue with pen and paper, they're as incomprehensible as a building with no sign.
No way a man could have blown that off of our bar!
So it begins at the culmination point of a story after newspaper tales about museum auctions and standing on a table at a burger bar. My opinion, the gang gets trapped is not an immediate great, although it ages really well. It's a corked bottle episode. From Dennis's plan of perfection, he, Frank and Dee have an A-team Indiana Jones mission, largely from small closed spaces. It's quite good at fucking the trope in focusing on Dee's terrible breath and pissing. Why is there a phone in the bathroom? Apparently this was an actual thing. Thinking on it, it's a visual metaphor for gang communications. Gang dynamics are a big part of this, calling back to their previously established roles in the dynamic.
Frank's got the attitude, Dennis has the grace, Dee knows Den.
She knows Den.
For a time, Dennis's astute summary of the collective was quoted in the Always Sunny overview on Wikipedia.
Somebody comes in with some preposterous plan or idea, and then all of a sudden everybody's on the gas, nobody's on the brakes, nobody's thinking, everybody's just talking over each other with one idiotic idea after another.
However, that's as much a problem because it strains credibility of how they could go unnoticed for 20 minutes. This is mentioned, and it swerves around the flaw by isolating the noisiest kids to base command. arguing over the walkie, another callback. Charlie doesn't get a lot to do this episode other than argue about chips. Yanks sell chips at hamburger stores. Charlie's motive here is artifact altruism. It's a great one for Mac, his problem eating, a very unlikely getaway driver, his fixture in the Swedish plumber disguise with all the porn connotations, other regional stereotypes.
And you gotta be careful, anytime you find out like some dude's got a crazy torture basement or something, it's someone from the South.
It's largely a Dennison-focused jaunt. He stands somewhere between the de facto leader, straining to keep them in line, and at the other pole, so wrapped up in his own immaculate planning skills, coupled with vanity, that he's blinded to many obvious flaws, and the perfect literal metaphor of how he does a lot of this while in hiding. Except he can't give directions without pausing to make some tangential point. It's most effective in how it explores his relationship with Dee.
You nosed your way into this like you do everything.
In confinement with the clock ticking, their different approaches to problem solving are quite exposed. As it subverts a locked room trope with trivialities, it does the same for the soap opera genre. The view from the gallery narrative voices the question, what the hell is it with soaps? Are these people all nuts?
I'm beginning to think that this family has zero awareness of their surroundings.
And it reflects that as the audience, us and the gang, doze in and out. Each time we hope a fresh perspective might make more sense of it, of these convoluted betrayals and relationships. Soaps seem completely oblivious to how their audiences and non-audiences view them. Or we can read it as a functional family, and the gang's reactions being the dread of that. Matt Shackman makes plenty of use of blocking, which is very important in this episode. The drum reprise enhances the dramatic aspect of this venture. That plays particularly well with the Frank scenes. DeVito gets plenty of space to show off some excellent physical comedy. Frank's unusual appearance is utilised in the iconic stuffed toy sequence, and a wonderful payoff to the Indiana Jones motifs, which deflate drama into farce. Mac's confession, he's fat. The shortest cold open of any episode. I love how far up Fat Mac's tea rides, and that blodge of sweat adds to it.
Because they're sinners and pricks.
This episode first aired on Danny DeVito's 67th birthday. Most or all of the main flashback story comes from complete but scrapped Series 6 episode The Gang Gets Successful, where Frank returns from North Carolina to find Patty's quite popular, which stirs the gang's greed and egos, and that's exactly what we get here. Of course, there was other footage from that episode. A YouTube account named The Gang Gets Successful has 16 seconds of bonus material enhanced and colour corrected. Successful was directed by Einhorn, likely written by Martyr, and the channel All Things Lost analyses this lost episode in detail. Links in the description. Tipping up, Mac calls her winning streak. Lots of fun in Dee explaining it because of her stand-up comedy. RCH or RCG Productions are getting quite meta in asking, why have they succeeded? Frank wants to explode Rom Ham. Panicking Charlie goes to the crevice. Speculation is rife this relates to Nightcrawlers somehow. And in the present, Mac explains to Father Cullen the key players, in a sense, pitching Always Sunny. Married actors Scott and Leonora Pitts as customers listening to a much worse pitch. I love that an extra pushes back so hard against how unfunny she is. Mac's been hanging out under the bridge drinking with a stray dog. Dennis is using black paint on his hair. He wanted to be associated with Superman, a role Harden had auditioned for. Charlie's plea for the gang not to change is of course the received wisdom of long-running shows and their model of success, which McElhenney deliberately set out to challenge in season 7. His balanced diet observed by nutritionists until he crammed donuts into his gob. Hilarity in Frank's resisting reinvention, hitting people with a stick, and an extra stop sign, unwittingly making life safer for everyone.
This is the plan. This is the one we should have done. That was the one.
You little bitch!
Shakespearean actor William Morgan Shepherd gives a good show as a suffering witness to Mac's boring tale. Trivia: Shepherd was runner-up for the role of Bob Five's Jakar and the father of Mark, real middle name Andreas Shepherd. This is a thoughtful episode because we're beginning to see Gang Phase 2, a group that becomes more family-like and won't screw each other every waking moment. The Sunny reboot won't see the gang travel internationally, except for Ireland.
My God.
Dennis has peaked. He's considering being played by another actor wearing a mask of himself. Michael O'Hearn is a candidate to play Mac, and it's the opportunity Mac takes to fire his ambition to put on serious bulk. No consequences, of course. And in this Avatar scheme, the rest of the gang will be played by others to back him up. Of course they will. More meta roles, Charlie's own real-life t-shirt. Some of these are made by Suburban Riot. At the time, a group run by friends, Rob and Caitlin have also worn tees from them in the show. This episode's co-writer, Scott Martyr, to the left of frame, and Rob Rosell to the right.
Is that your buddy? You go with him.
No, don't even know him.
I love how Charlie and Dennis bond here over their shared high bars of ambition, self-standards. Totally makes sense. And onto this wonderful sequence of tripping out. Charlie's radical mime and dance act with synchronised electro beats. Frank's plan has moved on to detonating a pigeon. Everyone should get high and talk exactly like Max says.
You got big fat titties, and I like to kill babies.
In typical fashion, the gang's attention deficit disorder moved on from the Avatar plan, with only Mac not realising. I wonder if the episode would resonate better at the start of Season 7. But at episode 10, it suggests a fat Mac we're now quite used to is the one still labouring under the Avatar plan all this time.
Please leave.
I'll see you in 6 weeks.
Ratcheting thriller soundtrack accentuating the countdown to Thundergun the Terminator, a movie they'll eventually pirate. Let's be real with real time. 24 probably sucked if we watched it. Thundergun Express is hanging a dong. By the Sharon Brothers and Matt Shackman, its pre-production alt title was The Gang vs. Obama. Or The Gang Goes to the Movies, one of those, doesn't matter. Laughs in the traffic jam as Frank complains about
All these goddamn immigrants come in to see Obama, and none of them have any insurance. That's why he drives so slow.
and teases the bomb threat as a very Thundergun thing. Mac feels Dennis is too slow in talking to Dennis system right before they Thundergun express him.
Alright, we gotta find a new point of entry, attack the target from a different angle.
Whoa, hold on. What are you talking about attack?
The gang wrestle with moral and ethical dilemmas in the trolley problem, not for long. Dennis has his creepy recordings. The waitress's audio isn't in there. I know what her real name is. Hey, did you know the domain riverloop.com is for sale?
Captain Tom turned out to be a goddamn junkie.
Frank picks up the mic or walkie, evoking more action mode. The appeal of Frank as a tour operator comes not only from DeVito's charm. Frank is something of a mythological creature himself. For instance, he abandons Dennis so slowly, so coolly, and yet 15 seconds later he's at the head of the pack. This great episode has quite a lot of filler in it for parody's sake. The repetitive over-exposition of establishing shots, the length of location travel footage, edited to jump cuts, firing a volley at self-indulgent action stories and their makers. Public exposure, Mac hung dong on the tram.
I saw it. Looked like a button in a fur coat.
So how many times have we seen a hero head for the final boss by going through the sewers, by stealing a motorcycle? All the action motifs with the gang's failures layered onto them. Underage sex tapes lead into partnering with a beautiful woman in slow-mo, accompanied by sensual music. Charlie deconstructs how the underground scene of the action story might work, the science of Die Hard. The timing of sewer flows explains why the protagonist often wears a vest or a tea. Typical bully heroes argue, but not about bald or stretched clothing. Nature is the enemy. Close your mouth, Dee. Mac finds his way back, suggesting little progress from abandonment, but for Dennis inventing Facebook meanwhile. Frank on the river in ad-libbed joy unfolding. You see this and you can't justify a clip show. Just give us 20 minutes of Danny DeVito recapping Sonny. And there's plot in this section too. Maybe the tourists think they're en route for a boy's hole.
No surrender. No surrender.
I surrender.
The gang at the cinema make with their original plan of shouting over people until someone switches seats.
At a certain point, it's your fault, you know what I mean, for not moving.
All right.
Yeah, you see, I got arrested and couldn't use my one call to phone in a bomb alert, but it's highly in keeping with Frank's audacity. Oh, he'd try it.
God damn it, Frank!
He thundergunned the shit out of them. The high school reunion has epic scale, so hot these could be the final episodes. The lyrics of their fight song sound inaudible. Baby Got Back should have been inaudible.
Baby got back.
By the subject, the gang trying to recapture their youth, we get a window into year zero, pre-Sonny experiences and delusions. By the gang's immature nature, adolescence bleeds into adulthood always. Here, it's acutely so. On an internal, psychological, the story performs the same function as a flashback, mostly unconsciously, though the atomic wedgies were real. Dee refers to Chardee as the class clown, which is interesting given how we know he's something of a creative polymath. Howard and McElhenney and Shackman helm both parts. Strong consistency. Really feel like the same story. Hard breaks. Frank must wait outside. No thoughtful gang just yet. No beer left behind.
You went to St. Joe's?
I did.
St. Joe's obviously a Catholic school, and Notre Dame is referring to Charlie's want for a main prophetess.
Can't wait to see the waitress.
And yes, typically, of course, the gang will look forward to seeing people they haven't seen in 20 years.
No, maybe the most forgettable girl in school.
Yeah.
There's a display of mass cultivation in McElhenney's little twirl. Brad Hornet-Face Fisher lying in wait for Chardee. It's so great this episode assembles an array of second-tier supporting cast, less big characters, but ones which are part of the gang's social sphere. The Sunny Wiki says Mac's sticker going on moves around multiple times in between shots, and I feel this builds moment. How to play the long game with jokes too. His real name was hinted at way back in the gang cracks Liberty Bell. Chardee was bullied at school, something the gang sustained, although his feelings of inclusion let him push back. At the reunion, he subserviently accepts his treatment. Adriano Calvanese, played by Sacha Royce, lacks the gang's extremities, but the childhood scars are driving Charlie's acknowledgement that he is a dirt grub, because that's how things are.
Oh, he wanted me to smell a pen, and I was gonna smell a pen because it's Adriano.
No, you don't have to do that.
Laura is revealed through Dee's committed Judas, high school drug wars, Poppins, the transmitter of ringworm to the wrestling team, and conditioned to idolise Adriano, Charlie tattles on himself.
For some reason, homophobia, it's awesome to these guys.
Dennis is posting up, but no one's coming over to his house. It's a power thing. Equality for Dennis. Maureen's in the mix, with a diamond in the dead tooth.
It wafted over here, the dead tooth that's burning my nose.
Houghton shot down the theory that the waitress is not Nikki Potnick, though it was reasonable her alcoholic haze obscured Frank's badge. As in Paddy's, so above. The waitress's name is forgotten here. Rickety Cricket is on the move. The Father Maris switcheroo makes convincing storyteller subterfuge. Mary Elizabeth Ellis on prime-level drunk acting. Lesser spotted lines. Frank shook Maureen and her smell, but had to wash his hands and face. Tim Murphy, Ian Reese-Kessler, filling the classic trope of rivals, but 20 years ago. Tim's grown up, and we enjoy how he aims to deflate, but doesn't. Dennis's permanent grudge.
Alone you'll be.
Psychological sociopath dialogue. Famous fans of the show were asked to make a guest appearance. Nathan, Jared, and Caleb Followill, the Kings of Leon, around the bar. Caleb as Mitchell someone, Babbart. Ahead of their 2013 album, Mechanical Bull, Howard, Day, and DeVito returned to favour. You must see Dennis makes a Kings of Leon promo video, which has fun mini-sode energy, linked below. McElhenney goes full child with it, and rules.
Adriano made fake tickets, those tickets are fake! Don't rat on him! But he made fake ones and he gets to drink and we don't, that's not fair!
Tantrums tilt the scales as Ronnie the Rat sinks Mitchell, Adriano, and Charlie. Charlie knows his way around high school bathrooms, or so you would think. Delightful carnage as Dee leads the old gang against the new gang. Charlie's underwear reveal is a fantastic piece of prop work. Cricket demonstrates next level stealth pickpocketing, and his ringworm. Teen to adult body image themes reappear in part 2. For the Sunny Easters, I've picked out who the gang went to school with. Sabrina Rosen, Stash, Patrick Love, Joe Shields, Jennifer Hardy, Fernand Chero, Kaisha, played by Nikki McKenzie, and Sashi Wells as another girl, Carol Lee Bow, Sandra Sexton, Karen McCabe, and Carol Mole. It's a great part 1 takeoff planting plot seeds and a few big reveals for part 2 to absolutely stick the landing.
Previously on Melrose Place.
And now the conclusion. It's good to see Ingrid Nelson back, actor Judy Greer.
Fatty Magoo! Right? Everybody, Fatty Magoo!
Blink and miss Dennis's part in Dee's plan. He only has 2 drink tokens.
Our conductor's insane.
Our cargo is pain.
Freight train! Freight train!
Lore. The pre-gang were called the Freight Train, consisting of Mac, Charlie, and Dooley. May he rest in peace. And their leader, Psycho Pete.
It would have been cool to be closer to him. He was such a dark, mysterious guy, you know?
Charlie, it's me.
What about the Peter Schmidt?
Nope.
Is that the...
Oh, no, that...
Oh, come on.
Frank! Come on, Frank, push him out!
Well, are you literally...
Fat Mac versus Fatty Magoo. In a masterstroke of how Sonny creates its stories, Ingrid tells the gang Psycho Pete is the reason the reunion has security. It's because of Pete's cannibalism and prison break, stories the gang themselves generated. Charlie hates Dennis, that bastard man. Charlie idolizes Adriano, who torments him. But Charlie is a leader in the freight train and offers Dee inclusivity. Dennis hitting on Tim's wife, played by Frances Turner, he gets real graphic. Despite this, the writers give Christie a great argument for why he might be gay. It takes outlining his full sex offender for the scene to try and wind down. Yet High School Reunion can't resist the collected best Dennis proclamations.
Aye! Aye!
Blink and miss. The atomic wedgie they give Dee threw her back out. The oft-mentioned aluminum monster is a sight to behold, something of a classic Doctor Who villain. Check out DeVito's long, ponderous stare. An end to the famed Tools sequence.
Not that jerk-off, idiot! You jerk-off!
A fistful of hammers, too true. Fertile ground for the Brian Lefebvre theory. Charlie tells her from a hidden compartment.
Tools, duct tape, zip ties, and gloves.
Except these tools look of the blunter variety. Otherwise useless, Mac has just prevented a homicide. Shackman sets up the pre-finale with the freight train accelerating, Adriano's gang striding with ease. The near brawl gives us more Dennis illusions, and it leads to one of my favourite moments, the twist where it was Mac, not Tim, who slept with Dennis's girlfriend.
She was gross.
She was gross. She was gross.
She was gross.
It's perfect. Cheating and lying is Mac's thing. The reveal robs Dennis of his motivation, and it repositions Adriano's group to some extent. Frank is a new variable in the mix and provides a call to arms, but it was a great speech without any content to it, so a repivot to match. Plan B.
Plan B is a dance routine.
Always Sunny composer extraordinaire Cormac Bluestone cameos, reprising his season 1 guest role as Jimmy Doyle. Fittingly miserable audience to Charlie's inspirational anti-violence beef squashing. The routine looks fantastic. Incidentally, it satirises high school musical comedy Glee. Kings of Leon hate Glee and wouldn't let them use their tunes. The audience reaction suggests we're seeing how the gang think they're being seen. Accomplished performers. The gang's revenge references Revenge of the Nerds with the robotic dance numbers. The lighting and McElhenney's posture gives us Mac projecting his self-identity, large but not obese, apparently Michael Jackson parody just before the gut reveal. Joy in that after the glamour collapses, this shit show goes on for another half a minute, and a surprising reappearance of Jason Sudeikis as Schmitty, carting off the waitress. You're going to kick yourself when you realise her name. The high school reunion uses its 2-part runtime and large single location to paint the world of the gang in the normality of realism, or something resembling it. One of the quintessential stories that holds up to rewatch. Thank you to all my patrons whose names are on screen now and will be enjoying advance access to the true name of the waitress. I know what it is. Like, comment, share and subscribe. Are you ready for this, patrons? Are you ready for this? The real name of the waitress is given away in the very first series. Her name is Kathy Shaw. Wow. Thanks for subscribing.
Waitress at the coffee shop, dude?
Oh, a coffee shop.